Good evening and welcome. Yes, indeed, we are a couple of minutes late starting because, as you can notice, all three of us had to do our hair. So there we are. All is well. We are back and ready for another evening. There's no Connor this evening. So if you tuned in because you wanted Connor, that's great. He's not here. Just has to make do with me. So see how you get on with that. But we did get ourselves a crack panel ready to take a little look at what is going to be a rather big weekend for us. So we will just run around and say a hello to everyone. First of all, Andrew, lovely to have you back. We've dusted him off the shelf and brought him back out, wheeled him out back to the masses. Andrew, how are you, sir?
Yeah, so it's been a while, so I'm all good. So it's an exciting weekend of FA Cup football, say the men's tomorrow, and then across to Wolves on the Saturday. So really looking forward to being at both games.
Absolutely that. And of course, just over here, over my left shoulder, we have brought in the interlopers as we like to do for these previews to get the opposite side. It's from the Wolves Women podcast. It's Nick. How are you doing, sir?
Well, thank you very much, guys. Thanks for having us onto the show. And yeah, it should be an entertaining weekend of football. Hopefully, 2 wins in the bag for Wolves this weekend.
Absolutely. So it is going to be, I think, quite an interesting weekend. But we've got a couple of things that need to be addressed just before we start, because obviously today is February the 6th. It's not a nice day when it comes to Manchester United Football Club, because 66 years ago was the Munich air disaster. And although this is the women's channel, it's Manchester United. And regardless of what some people think, and I'm going to get to you, Mr. Brazil, it is one football club. 23 people died, 19 were injured, 21 survived, but born out of that tragedy, a football team that, my God, will never, ever be forgotten. And we just wanted to take a moment here on this channel to just take a second and say thank you to all of those people for effectively giving their lives for a football club, which shouldn't really be a sentence that you say, but they will always be forever in our hearts, the Flowers of Manchester. With that in mind, Mr. Brazil, I've got a word to say to you, my friend, getting up on TalkSport, getting yourself all riled up for reasons that I can't quite understand. You, sir, used to be a Manchester United player, and I might have even put you amongst the terms of legends. No more, sir. Now you are just a scriggly little scrotum as far as I'm concerned, because you have properly wound me up. What on earth has happened on TalkSport? Now, obviously, you can see we've got 3 people here who don't care about women's football. There's 41 people already watching who don't care about women's football. We're about to talk about a football match, which is going to be sold out with 5,000 people, but nobody cares about women's football. You completely shut down another woman. And then, I mean, all of this has happened whilst I'm just at school. It's unbelievable. And now I'm back, and all I can see is absolute madness. Connor's retweeted what's gone on, and my God, let me just say, to anybody who's watching this, and please do clip this, get it sent out there. If you are a human being who doesn't care about women's football, just shut up. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares about your opinion. You don't care about it? Great. As Leah Williamson once said, I don't care about fencing. It can still exist. It's allowed to happen. Things happen around the world. I don't particularly like Morrison's as a supermarket, but I'm not standing outside there going, shut it, as does better. You lot need to get a grip of your life. And for you people that want to sit there behind your little cameras like this, threatening people when they come to a men's game just because he's dared to believe that there are people that do believe in women's football and do like it, you need to give your head a wobble, because you are what is wrong with this country, with this world, and with this life. So if you're one of those people, get a grip of your life. Don't be going around there trying to have a go at my mate. Get this. That's me. OT is my church. Come and have a chat to me. Talk to me about your behaviour and why it is you're choosing to be an absolute cretin whilst you're on the internet, because you're what's wrong. You wouldn't say this to half of the people if you were face to face, but this looks after you. You are genuinely the scourge of society. And I hope every single one of you gets a really bad cold and you're wiping your nose for weeks. With that in mind, we've got a Wolves podcast to be looking at and talking about. So there we go. Don't have a go at my mate Connor. Don't do it. Hello, everybody. That's the 5-minute bit over the way. Let's have a little chat now about football. We've got great people to talk about. We've got the Wolves Women podcast on. So we're going to talk a little bit to you first because, God bless you, you're a tier 3 side. And we don't often get the chance to talk about tier 3 sides when we're on this podcast. So let's get a little chat. Now, we're lucky here. We're lucky because I do like a little bit of low league football. We have on a sister channel, Wolf Women's Football, our lower league lingo. So we do spend a lot of time talking about the lower leagues. But I'm not the Northern representative, I'm afraid, nor the Midlands representative. I'm the Southern representative, as my accent belies. But we know a few people. And it seems to me like you are on a little bit of a run with the way things are going, but it's just come to a little stutter with your result against Rugby. Beth Merrick obviously equalising in the 75th minute, tiny little stutter, maybe one that we'll take advantage of. But before that, won your previous 3 games. Andrew's going to get upset here. Obviously, Derby 4-0. You smashed Stourbridge 7-2. Who are they? And then beat Cheltenham in the FA Cup. Out of the County Cup, though, which was just before that, but then you won your previous 6, and then Cheltenham knocked you out of the cup as well. So talk to us a little bit about how this season's going for you. Tell us a little bit, how is it being a Wolves fan at the moment? What's going
on? Starters, Rugby, slip up. I'm not sure. It depends how you look at it. Rugby it's a really tough ground to go to. They've held Forest there as well, full-time Forest. They held them there. It was a fairly even contest, so I think, it was one of those. As a season, we're overachieving. To put that into context, Forest are full-time. Wolves have 3 part-time footballers. The rest are school teachers, nurses, etc., all doing day jobs and then coming in and training in their spare time. So I think, we're competing with the big guns, the money spent in Forest, and we're just behind them on goal difference, second in the league. So in that sense, it's a really good season. We're enjoying ourselves. Obviously, disappointing to go out of the County Cup, but some of us could put 8 goals past West Bromwich Albion, others could only put 7. And we won't mention about the Stourbridge games at all, Andrew. Don't worry about that. In all seriousness, it's been an entertaining season so far. We've had a couple of lows, not going to lie. Losing to Forest early in the season was a disappointment, but I think actually, if the season ended now, you told this was the final positions, pushing Forest all the way, 5th round of the cup, maybe further in the FA Cup. I'd take it. Obviously, we'd love promotion, but it's not going to be. We're competing with people who are spending a hell of a lot more money than Wolves are, and that includes Rugby Borough for that matter. Then we're probably 5th biggest spender in the League of 12, and we're sitting second.
No, absolutely. You mentioned it, Rugby Borough. I'm jesting really with that one. They have done quite well, 5th in the league. They're not doing too badly at all this season. You mentioned the Forest game. That was an early loss, though. Is it right at the beginning of September?
Not lost in the league since then.
Exactly. So it's been quite a run, that's for certain. We'll come back to a bit more of your runs as well. But when we talk about that, Dan, when we then start looking at Manchester United, I mean, our league form's been pretty imperious too as well. We've not lost too many games. Obviously, we had the game against Chelsea, but that's the only one. And we've got the best defensive record in the league. Now, we will talk to Nick in a bit about the Wolves attackers. They've got some pretty good ones. They've got some numbers that Manchester United fans would love to see on their strikers. But before we get to those, our league form, when you compare it to the Wolves league form, it's very similar. Do you think this is where the 2 tiers difference is going to make a difference?
I think if you look back actually to last season when we played Brighton, we were minutes away from actually being, taking into extra time. And I think it's fitness will be the telling. Fitness will be the teller, not necessarily even that. You saw it again when you played West Brom. Those last 15 minutes were what killed West Brom, not the first 70 odd minutes. That's going to be the killer. It's that. Playing against full-time professional athletes who are training 5 days, 6 days a week versus people, as I said, who've got day jobs and they're training a couple of hours a week in the evening. So it will be the fitness will be the difference between the 2 teams.
Andrew, what do you make of it? 2 big teams.
I was going to say we can't take Wolves lightly, and Skinner's saying that as well in his pre-match interview as well. So I'd say the last round against West Brom, we was only still 1-0 ahead at the 77th minute before we scored the second, and then Roll hit another 6 in like 15 odd minutes. So fair West Brom, they hung in there. I didn't really have much in terms going forward, but there was, if they tried to manage to get something, they might have just snatched something out of it. But we just, us, our fitness and our quality in the end shone through, and that's why we progressed. But like I say, our league form at the minute has been brilliant. So say in second place, say with Chelsea still at the top of the league as well. But I say we've won 7 of our last 8 games in all competitions. Obviously we lost out to Man City in the League Cup, but I think we all said after that game would we rather taken them to win in the derby in the league or the League Cup. So it was like, well, the league is the focus, but also we want to retain the FA Cup, and the teams we're facing, they want to be the ones to take that away from us. So it's going to be a competitive game. So it's going to be, just hope United just come out the traps and like we've been doing in all the league games, press high and try and get that early goal as well, because the more I think we sit back and we're just inviting trouble on. But our defence has been holding up, but I just don't want to give Wolves any sniffer of a chance. But yeah, it's all set for an exciting game. It is.
Absolutely. Just a brief aside here. This is again what I'm talking about. I quite enjoyed Game of Thrones, and actually I didn't mind the ending. But people get so upset about Game of Thrones and the ending, and it's
not
strange.
something I've ever watched.
Never. I quite enjoyed it. I couldn't help it. I was really hooked from the first episode. I watched the first one. I was like, it was all right. And then when the kid was just pushed out the window, I'm like, oh my God, this is unreal. I'm hooked. And that was it. I was like, I have to watch the rest of it because that was quite a shock. But yeah, people get so upset about the endings. And it's like, well, you don't have to like it. People are making it. Anyway, I couldn't help it. No, I liked it. Because at the end of the day, it's the person who's telling the story to tell, right? So you don't have to like it. It's just, it is what it is. Everyone's always upset because it's not what I wanted. But I'm sure there's a load of people that just don't really care. They're like, okay, well that's it. That's the end of that. So there we are. But anyway, what was I going to go with? Andrew, I wanted to go to goalkeepers very quickly because we've just been talking about defences. And JJ's mentioned, is Kayla available? This should be an ideal debut for her. Now, I'd imagine looking at potential lineups, would you be resting players? And if you were resting players, would you gamble the possibility of an FA Cup, which could be the only thing we win this year if we have, it's the most realistic thing with Chelsea being as high as they are? Would you rest the goalkeeper, Fallon Tullis-Joyce, and throw in Kayla? Or would you be more inclined to sort of try and keep a good mixture of general first teamers and a couple of maybe youngsters or people that don't play every single game?
I was going to say, just asking if she's available. I'm not sure whether she did play in the last round for Southampton. I know in the League Cup she couldn't be, for us, she was cup tied. But
let's play devil's advocate and pretend
if she is available. Knowing Mark Skinner, he'll want to go with a strong side but it could be, with our back line as strong as it is, it could be the great chance to give her a debut on Saturday. So I just think, with the leadership of Mayer as well, and that defence, I think it could be a good game for her to come in as well. So, and say she's been working with Fallon as well, so she's going to be picking up that experience from her. So I just think it could be the ideal game for her to come in. But just knowing Skinner's mindset, he'll want to put a strong side out because we all want to reach the final at Wembley again. We want to retain the FA Cup again. So I just think, let's go for it. But I wouldn't be surprised if he did put Paler in. So it'd be nice to see her get a debut on Saturday.
I mean, if we were to start talking about defences, as we've mentioned, Nick, United have got an imperious defence at the moment. They really, really do. They've conceded the fewest goals in the WSL and even in cup competitions. They're not leaking very many. But you've got perhaps 3 of the finest strikers in Tier 3. You've got Beth Merrick, obviously we mentioned her earlier with the equaliser against Rugby, 12 in 18. according to full time, not including county cup ones where people might have scored 150 in 2 games. Amber Hughes obviously has got 19 in 17, which is a pretty good return, and Charlotte Greengrass with 19 as well in 21 games. So when you start looking at those things, I mean, that's unbelievable. That's 50 goals from 3 players. We'd be lucky if we've got 50 goals, Andrew, I think, amongst the whole team at the moment. So talk to us about those 3 strikers and what sort of a chance, or 3 attackers, and what chance you think they've got against the defence.
So I think, let's put it into context. I mean, the actual stats are Amber and Charlotte both got 22 each for the season so far. So that includes the County Cup goals so 44 goals from our 2 strikers or out and out strikers. They're different players. They'll pull and twist the defence. And obviously Amber has played in Championship as well before now, so probably did come up against Man United when you got parachuted into the Championship. So therefore, she has got experience against you lot. I think you'll find we'll also look to how we play it. It might well be that we'll play Amber and Charlotte, start them, and then look to tweak things around a bit later on and stick on Jade Cross, who's played for Wolves for many years, but who's got a lightning pace, and just play off the shoulder maybe, and just play those last 10, 20 minutes, just create something slightly different and cause a bit of an upset maybe that way. As for Beth Merrick, well, it's Beth Merrick on one side, Destiny Toussaint on the other. Both played at Championship level. Beth's obviously Wolves through and through. Wide players who enjoy coming in, scoring goals and creating opportunities. Beth Merrick, I mean, the screamer against Rugby is just impressive. It really is. It's goal of the season, contender there again for Beth. But she will like to cut in and just have it, and she could pick them out from sort of 20, 30 yards, and she's not afraid to have a shot. So it's not just about the defence sort of stopping us from getting into the box, it's from closing us down outside of the box. And even then, it's not just those 4. You've got Tammy George as well, who, if I remember rightly, she's got 10 goals already this season, and she's another one who'll shoot from distance. So you've got to be, our attack will come from different angles and from all ranges as well. So it is very much different challenges depending on the players. As for your goalkeeper, Kayla Rendell, met her before. She obviously played for Southampton, and we came up against Southampton in the playoff, and she was in that goal for them. So so we'll wait and see if she does play. It'll be an encounter. We obviously didn't come off. She kept a clean sheet in that game, but hopefully, if she does play, she won't keep a clean sheet in this one.
Absolutely. Well, the ref has arrived. If there's everyone you can trust, he is here, and he tells us that Kayla Rendell is available. So there we go. That is almost like getting it from Skinner himself in terms of trustworthiness. Puzzling Time, I think, has had some form of issue with his keyboard, or he's having a really good joke, because he put Fallon Sandberg and Myron Mannion is my prediction for the back. So I'm pretty sure he means Turner, but who knows? Maybe he's thinking we are going to put Queen Elizabeth in defence, which would be quite interesting. No, he has actually written it out twice as if he meant it. So that's very interesting. They're not turning to Janssen. That's not even close. Don't know what you've done there, Brian. If it had been Turner, I could have lived with it. But that one, that's completely different letters. You need to stop playing around with your keyboard there, mate, I think, on that one. Which brings us to a question that I was going to ask a bit later, but I'll ask it now, Andrew, because Skinner's spoken a bit about Turner, about Janssen and his knock. What do you think might be the starting lineup for United? We've spoken a little bit about the goalkeeper, but do you see it being the same team? Would you, if you were Skinner, go strong, try and get the game won, then bring people on? Would you start with, Connor's saying Kayla's cup side? Oh my gosh. Well, in the red corner, we've got, as if Connor's not had enough fights today, he's in the red corner. He's gone for it again. He's not having it. He's throwing his things in. I've got no words for this. God knows how this is going to end. Somebody's going to get their ear bitten off. Can't wait to find out who it is. But, Andrew, who would you pick for your starting 11?
Well, I'm just thinking how Skinner would. I think I would want to go strong and get the game done. That way we can bring, play. I haven't had so many minutes on the pitch, get them on in the second half. So I think he will go. It all depends if Jansen's available, because he said that in Knock. He said, I think she's being assessed, but there's been no more news on her. So it could be that in place could Simi come in instead of her. So I just think we're on such a winning run at the moment. I just want to keep the consistency going and the same 11 as last week. So I just think Jansen's probably the one doubt at the minute. But if she's not available, then put Simi in her place. But Jansen and Miyazawa have formed this partnership now that's just working so well. When they were first put together in that midfield, I was a bit unsure how this is, because we know Jansen can play at the centre back as well, and that's where she's been more naturally, better. But it seems she's come on leaps and bounds, and her partnership with Hinnie as well just seems to be flourishing. So I just think we want to win this, and we want to, as I said earlier, go all the way. So let's go strong, and just press from the front, and get some early goals, and then we can start to relax. But so equally, we've got to be defensively good, because with Wolves' attack as well. I'm just thinking the likes of Amber Hughes, and I think scored against Stourbridge as well. So I'm wary of her, talent. So I'm just like, I think the one that's wary of in the Wolves squad is Tammy George as well. So she's one of those players that can change things. And I'm like, I think we can mark a few of the Wolves players out the game, then we should be all right. But be interesting to see. I say I'll go the same side, but Skinner could throw some curveballs on Saturday. Who knows?
Lots of things. Honestly, it's all kicking off in the chat right now. It's amazing. Lots of people suggesting different lineups potentially. Simi being mentioned. I know there's been a few people that think she hasn't quite got up to the pace of WSL, but tier 3, very different level. So could well be a good one for her to come in and maybe be able to dominate a little bit more than perhaps she would in the WSL. Who knows? But people are going for it today. I presume that Lady Boog is Welsh. Plays Saturday with the out of Wolves. I'm kidding. Wales. Oh, could this be Sean's burner account? Who knows? Sekan Waggy Bonnie has decided to give Peace a chance. He wants to give the younger players a chance to play. So that's all good. They might even get a chance to play as well. And if they do, no, genuinely senior prayers. Absolutely. So he's definitely choosing Peace on this one. But lots and lots going on. Connor is blaming again. There we go. It was cup tied in the League Cup, not the FA Cup. Connor is blaming the programme. He is rowing back somewhat. He's rowed back so far. Steve Redgrave's impressed. So well done, you.
I knew it was League Cup. I just thought the FA Cup. I wasn't sure, but so like I said, we got options for our. If we kind of had been cup tied, we would have had Saf on the bench anyway. So.
We need Connor for updates on Jansen. Just there, Bonnie. We need Connor for him to do that. So if he could stop worrying about who's cup tied or not and what he's read and go back to being the font of all knowledge, that would be really helpful. Skinner said he was going to give some later. I haven't seen anything as yet put out on social media that says one way or another whether or not he's available. But he did say that they will obviously assess her before the match. And we'll see. So maybe she'll be there. Maybe she won't. Right. To the question that I wanted to go to initially, Nick, we're talking about attacks and defences. In your own defence, you've got Becca Thomas in goal. She's started incredibly well. Only 15 conceded in the league, and I think it was 13 played in the league. So pretty good again for the level that we're at there. Talk to us a little bit about your defence, because if there's one thing that we would probably say about the United players, I think the most we've got is 5 or 6 potentially as a top number. So again, maybe the standard of goals and defenders might be slightly different, but still, it's still trying to shoot at that thing. And we had 17 shots in the last match, and in that thing, we only hit it twice. Thankfully, one of them went in, and as a result, we got the win. But if we have those sorts of levels against you, what do you think your chances are of your defenders stopping at least 2 of those shots? How do you think your defence will do?
So I think our defence is actually really solid this season. It's we've got two of the three players that are part-time are two of our defenders. So Casey Johnson, KJ, who's playing right back or played predominantly right back this season, and Anna Morfitt, Captain Morph, who's left side of the centre-back pairing, are the two of the three part-time players alongside Tammy George, who we talked about earlier. They're solid. They really are solid, and they'll throw their bodies on the line. The other centre-back is AJ, Abby Jenner, who's on loan from Birmingham City. So he's got a lot of experience. He's come across with that experience being in the blue setup. So there's no slouch there, and her distribution is excellent. Regular sort of listening to the Wolves Women podcast, Paul, AJ's is his favourite player. So yeah, I think so. That's really solid on that side, and then on the left full back role, assuming we do go with a back four, which we have been playing predominantly this season. It's Beth Roberts, who is rapid, skillful down that left full back side of things, and is solid defending, and is quite happy to sort of get that tackle in. I think the conversation is about whether we'll go with a back four, back five, and whether we'll drop Destiny into sort of a wing back role and have sort of the three defenders, so KJ, AJ, and Morph as three centre backs, and play Beth Roberts and Destiny Toussaint as a back five, as the wing backs and a back five. It's slightly different setup there, maybe. So therefore, sort of absorb your attack and use Destiny and Beth Roberts' pace to sort of get the ball up the pitch when we can, and have the likes of Beth Merrick, Tammy George, and Beck Anderson in the centre of the midfield, just break up the play and sort of try and distribute and give us a chance to break away and get that goal. I've seen some of the comments coming up. I think one thing I would say is the difference between West Brom and Wolves is significant. I know we lost to them in the County Cup, but that's an unusual result. Put that into context. We've gone 11 games unbeaten against them. In fact, sorry, rephrase that. We've beaten them 11 times on the bounce over the last couple of seasons. So, this is Wolves and West Brom are very different kettle of fish. West Brom were very much sat 11 players behind the ball. Maka has talked in local interviews about making sure he gets the fans up on their feet. So we're not going to sit there with 11 players behind the ball and just try and absorb your attack for 90 minutes and take it to extra time. There will be a plan to get out of our half of the pitch and get up there and score a goal. One thing I would say is we do like to score goals direct from corners, and I know Man United love conceding direct from corners against us. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens as well. Morph is renowned for putting them in straight into the back of the net, but direct from the corner. So that might well be the way that we score. It wouldn't surprise me.
No, it sounds very interesting. Puzzling times, saying if I was the Wolves manager, I'd start green grass in a heartbeat. Now, don't know if anybody's watched Heartbeat, but that's a very clever joke there from Puzzling Time. For a minute, I was like, wow, he's really paying attention to what Wolves are doing. And then I was like, he's talking about Claude. So very nice. Connor, on the other hand, not got a clue. He thinks you're being serious. So there we go. He has mentioned Jade is all right. He might update with this, but to be fair, nothing's been heard since the previous update, which would be that she's due back at some point in the near future, but obviously it will be very much on her time. Andrew, we're going to talk to Nick in a moment about their FA Cup run. It will take him slightly longer to run through because obviously there's a few more games. We've had one game. He's alluded already to the West Brom game. It wasn't a bad game at all, but it was a long game. 77 minutes it took for us to breach the defences properly. Nick says it might be a little bit different. West Brom, obviously, with the County Cup win, but you can't really count the County Cup. They're very, very different competitions at the lower league level for the County Cup. So what do you think? Do you think this could be another problem in terms of having a side that's really going to hold up the defences and make life a bit difficult? Or is it going to be an absolute battering? Where do you see it going?
Depends how we started. Like the West Brom game, we were all right, and then obviously we went ahead after like the 23rd minute. I think it was Mallard that got the first goal for us, but then we just seemed to settle into. Didn't have no rhythm there afterwards, and we were just like West Brom did have all that. They were defending mostly, but they didn't really have much to get going forward, and I'm just like, it's just like we were making probably more difficult for ourselves, and I just think Wolves are not going to. They're not going to have everyone sitting back for the whole game. They're going to try and you're going to try and force us back in there with some of your own attacks, and I think that's where we've got to be a bit wary, as you said, from the corners as well. So if you get a corner, you're going to be like trying to put us off, and trying to score as well. So I think, we can't. I think we're going to be on it from the first minute, because if you score early, it's going to get your fans up and on their feet, and like you've got something there to not say hold on to, but something to go forward with. But I feel like the way United have been playing recently, especially in the league, is where we've been, said on the front foot. It's just like, we've got to take the game to you, because, we don't want this to be our banana skin. We lose and then we're at the FA Cup and we're not, we're not going to be the holders anymore. So, but I think that's the key. I think we've got to, in terms of our attack, when we get the opportunity to score them, because as I said, the West Brom game, it was the 77th minute before we got the second, and then it was like by the 95th minute we had our seventh. So just I'm not going to take Wolves there very lightly, because they've got some really good players that can cause a bit of damage to us. So let's say, as I know from watching Wolves against Average, how lethal they can be. So
and we were poor in defence that day as well.
So I've got first-hand experience of watching Wolves women, so I'm just thinking, I know how good they can be, so I'm just like, don't want it to be our banana skin. So, but it's all set for an interesting game. How both teams will set up and how tactically they'll work each other out. So it's going to be an interesting watch from the start.
Yeah, it absolutely will. Antonio saying don't rotate that much, should be taken seriously, and I agree. Again, tier 3 is no slouch and definitely needs to be watched out for. So we've spoken about Wolves. Nick, we've mentioned how it currently is second level with Nottingham Forest on points, but they have played one game more than you. Third best goal difference so far in the league. Out of the County Cup, as you mentioned, to West Bromwich Albion on penalties, though, to be fair, it was a penalty shootout, not a regular defeat. Out of the WNL Cup initially, early on in the season to Stoke, he went on in the plate to beat Fylde 3-0 before going out to Cheltenham 2-1, which is interesting when we get to the previous round of the FA Cup, because all of that happened before your FA Cup run, which has been, by all intents and purposes, amazing. So you had, and I do love these first round ties, we had this with the likes of Stevenage as well. You get some teams that you're like, who? And Ashford amateurs, which sounds like the sort of thing you would get on TV, like John T's Giants, that sort of thing. They got bopped 7-1, so that happened. You then took on, and if John Foster was on here today, he'd be hanging his... Go on.
Can I just go back to Ashford? Because I tell you what, that away day was one of the best away days we've had all season. Ashford amateurs, they did themselves huge pride. And I think what you'll find is that we'll sort of replicate a bit of what they did, because every time they won a tackle, every time that they had the ball in our half, they got their crowds up on their feet, and they had a really decent turnout for that game. And I think that's what we'll see is the equivalent of that for when us playing you guys. And to be actually, we're going to have some of the Ashford players are coming to watch the game on Saturday ahead of their quarter final. They've got a League Cup their own League Cup quarter final on Sunday. So they're coming to watch us beforehand. So the great crowd there and the good setup, and it was a cracking first round tie for us, and we really enjoyed it, and they were a good bunch.
Which is good. I mean, lots of people mentioned about the fact that if we did rotate, we do have internationals, so it's not necessarily weakening the side, but you might be weakening the chemistry. But good stuff there with the Ashford atmospheres. Like I said, it's just a name more than anything. They're ones you don't generally tend to see. Now, as I was saying, if John Foster was here, he'd be gutted, because 2 of his favourite 5 teams will have been beaten in this one. We mentioned Stourbridge earlier, so that's 3 out of the 5 on his bingo card. Sporting Calce will be in the next one, who are, of course, the tier below you.
Same tier as us. Same tier.
More than one. My bad. It's the next one that's the tiers below. So you've got Sporting Calce at 8-1, just the 8-1. 8-1, that's unbelievable. Shrewsbury, who are in tier 5 in the West Midlands League, just a 14-0 there. Nothing too much to worry about. And then, of course, Cheltenham, who are, of course, in the Southern Prem, but not doing quite as well as you in their league. winning 2-0. So for you guys, you've had a massive FA Cup run. Do you feel that prepares you more, the number of games that you've had and the run that you're on, and therefore the morale that gives you? Does that help you a little bit more than, say, if you were to play us after your previous games in, say, the County Cup and the WNL Plate, where it's been a bit more up and down?
Winning breeds winning. Your confidence. Winning breeds confidence. You keep going as you keep winning and keep getting positive results. You generate those positive movements. So I think, certainly when you look at the fact that we were played pretty much sort of Calcer. It was asked to be Calcer and Shrewsbury in about 4 weeks. We played those 3 games. It was bonkers. It was because we had county cups in between there, and we put 15 past Coventry Sphinx in between sort of a couple of those FA Cup games as well. So we had a real sort of momentum build there. Obviously, then sort of had the Christmas break and went straight into the Cheltenham game, which actually was probably the best. It was good to have that. Then Stourbridge and then Derby. So you built up. It got tougher as we went on. Sort of progressed. So it's been a good build. Sort of a couple of lower tier 3 teams. Derby mid-table, struggling to be fair, and then Rugby, which again another tough game, but mentally it's good for us to come up against ahead of playing yourselves.
She mentioned 5,000 people potentially turning up for this one. And I don't say this to be glib, but is that the biggest attendance you've had so far this season? Because there's been some pretty big ones down in the lower leagues we've noticed.
So this will be our biggest ever attendance, certainly at home. Against Huddersfield a couple of seasons ago when we played at Molineux, we got 3,834. But that will be so for 5,000 or thereabouts will be a record-breaking attendance. It'll be good. We've got all 3 sides. Obviously, you're bringing about 1,000 fans, and then we've got the predominantly standing behind the one goal, and we've got the whole of the main stand, the other goal, and then on the East Terrace we've got another 500 seats. So that's going to be it's going to be Wolves fans on about 3/4 of the round, the 3 sides. And it's a tight pitch. The fans will be up close to the pitch, which will make it an interesting atmosphere. And it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, it'll be interesting to see how your fans react if you don't go quickly ahead, and whether that will impact on the response. The fan base. I don't know what your fan base is like, what the pressure will be on. I know obviously you're all big fans of your manager, Mark Skinner, and think he's doing a wonderful job. But if you've got sort of picking up some of the comments I've seen on about sort of being 5-6-0, if you're not there by half time, will that put a bit more pressure on from your fans on your players and therefore cause more of a mistake? Perhaps, I don't know. You know your fan base better than I do. That would be my worry if I was Mark Skinner, and that with how close it is, it gives more pressure on yourself.
More of them than me. Andrew's been to way more of them than me this season. But this point here is a very good one, because I can remember this game as well and listening to it on the radio. And I was exactly like Nick is mentioning there, going, where's the goals? How are we not winning against Bridgewater United? I mean, I'm not convinced I could point to Bridgewater on a map, let alone where they are in the leagues and that sort of jazz. So, I mean, the fan base. I know the fan base as well, to be fair, but what do you reckon, Andrew? Answer his question. What's it going to be like if we have this sort of game against Wolves?
I think, a bit like the West Brom, if we go 1-0 up and then it just settles in, and we're not scoring more, I think that game we just got a bit, I don't know, restless, and like we should be going on more on the attack. So I'm just like, once you get a goal ahead, just keep going more and more. But if you're putting up a few, good attacks and opportunities and they're really testing us, that'll start to slightly worry us that, we've got to be on it from the first minute, because, one slight mistake and, we could be out of the cup. So, as I said, some of our fan base are not fans of Skinner, but, we say we back the team, so that includes the manager. So we want, to go out there and win games. So, but I feel like this is one of those tricky games, I'm not taking it lightly, and
and nor should we.
Yeah.
Ema saying it'll be the same as the Spurs game crowd-wise, to be honest. People frustrated when we know how attacking we can be. Absolutely. And a lot of people liking your shade, Nick, to be fair. Lots of people liking that. Sorry, Andrew, go on.
I was going to say, I was reading something about, after the Spurs game, like WSL games, not where, teams are, battering one another like 4 or 5 now, it's getting more and more competitive. So, and we had to defend a bit in that second half because Spurs, were trying to get back into it. So the days of, where we're, battering teams 6 or 7 like that in WSL was like long gone now. So, but yeah, that's why Saturday is not, Wolves are going to prove a bit of a threat to us. So.
No, for sure. Well, as you mentioned, there's going to be potentially 5,000 people. I've got to say, fair play to the Wolves website because they have produced a comprehensive preview for the people that are travelling to the, I'm going to say this wrong, the Saya Stadium.
Call it a new book said, everyone else does.
Yeah,
it's the Sia Stadium. It's the Sia
Stadium. But I thought I'd go Saya like Waya, but it's Sia. You never get it.
It's got a few different names.
But everyone knows it. Everyone knows it's the new book's head.
But yeah, at the moment tickets are still available, and so but I think they're for the home fans. I don't know.
Home fans only.
Fans. Yeah, I was going to say we'd have sold ours out.
Yeah, okay, there we go. But there's lots going on. So the car park opens at 2:30 for anyone who's wanting to drive. Don't get there ridiculously early. But there's going to be some really interesting things. They've got fan zones. So I thought we could have just a very brief moment of enjoying ourselves here to talk about what we would do if we were at a fan zone, because there's 5 big things you've got going on here. And I'm going to take them in the order that they were on. So first of all, 3 words that I was not convinced should ever be put together: inflatable, football, darts. Now, inflatable and darts, they don't sound like they should be anywhere near each other. How you can have footballs that are darts, I don't know. So maybe you can explain what in the name of all things holy that actually is. But also, actually sounds quite interesting. Just I'm tempted just to drive up just to see what that is. So any idea, Nick, what inflatable football darts is?
I'll be honest. First of all, it's great that we've got the fan zone out there. It's the first time we've had fan zone, and it is really. We're fairly critical of the club at times, and we'll be. Certainly, the hierarchy, as a whole, isn't popular with the fan base, be that the women's side or the men's side. I think that there's a common theme there about chairman. But I think credit to the club for everything they've done with this, with having the fan zone, getting stuff open, and I think I presume, don't hold me to this, I'm not an expert, but I presume it'd be sort of rubberized sort of darts, and you have the inflatable footballs and you throw sort of Velcro darts at them, perhaps something like that. I don't hold me to that though. I'm not sure. I'll go and find out for you and report back.
Genuinely, in my mind, I can't imagine it. Like you just said, where's the inflatable bit coming in? I'm lost. Andrew, any idea what inflatable football darts might be?
I don't know. It's going to be like not like an inflatable dartboard, and you hit the football out and it'll stick to the dartboard. That's what I'm thinking it is.
That makes sense.
That's what I'm thinking it is, but I'll soon see when I get there. I'll have to send you a photo, Barry, and go.
I'm expecting it. I want it, so I can put it on the Twitter for the millions.
Because John's going, John's going as well, so he wants to be there early.
Excellent. I also expect you to have a go, Andrew.
Oh.
That's what
I expect Andrew versus John on it.
Absolutely, yes. This is what I want.
And I'll get very competitive.
That's what I want. Absolutely. You need some competition around here. Make that happen. Good. The next thing they've got is an inflatable target goal, which I think we can all work out makes a lot more sense. That is a goal with holes and it's inflatable. Lovely. Easy peasy. Like that one. So, again, good things there. But they've got refreshments, as you would expect. They've got face paint, and glitter tattoos. So the question is, if you had to have a glitter tattoo on your face, lads, what do you have him put on?
Wolf's head.
A wolf's head was an obvious answer. I presume you're going to put a devil on yours, Andrew.
Devil.
I'll help you out there, mate. No problems. And then the final thing, and I might be about to really. I'm sorry if this comes across wrong, but Wendy and Wolfie, are they your mascots?
Well, they are our mascots, yes. I'm disappointed to see that Wilfred's not going to be there, though. I am going to put complaints in if Wilfred's not there as well.
Outrageous. See, now we've only got Fred the Red. Is it about time Fred got a missus, do you reckon, Andrew?
Yeah, well, yeah, because he turns up for the men's and women's, so he needs a missus. So
maybe we should. What would we do them? Get it in the chat. That's what we want to know. If we can get ourselves a female devil, what are we going to call him? Because it can't be Fred the Red, but I can't think of too many names that rhyme with red that are of the female variety. So maybe there's another one we can get in there. So let's see what you can do. Come on, chat. You've been with me plenty of times. I need your help on this one. But other good things, that doing a program is £3 if you want to get that. Parking will only cost you £4. Don't know why everybody's switched around. That was
I don't know.
Where did I go? Strange. But yeah, £4 for your parking, £3 for your program. It sounds like it's going to be an absolute blast. Before we get to the predicted scores, I forget musical panels, it really was. But I stayed here. That's the bizarre thing. And I actually wasn't playing about with it. But there we are. We had a female devil at the club. And very good. Well done. Well, I didn't expect you to get that in there, but you did very well, Michael. Good effort, but still something we can't call them. Barry won. It's always a love it when we win. No, that was a snake. Exactly. Last question before we go to predicted scores. It's just sort of anything else really you want to mention about the occasion. So, Nick, from your point of view again, how big of an occasion is this for you?
It's huge. It's going to produce sort of a lot of publicity, a lot of attention. Obviously, we've had the FA Cup's sort of been left at Compton because we're just going to move it across down the road to the museum. Store it in its rightful place. Come May, it won't. It doesn't have to travel far that way. But it is a huge occasion. It's a great way, and you open talking about Alan Brazil. It shows the amount of attention and people do care, because if they wouldn't care, there wouldn't be 5,000 people, wanting to go and watch the game. It got moved so that it didn't clash with the men's game. So obviously our men are playing up north in Blackburn on Sunday afternoon or Sunday lunchtime. So there's no clash there, which is important, and it shows. I think it's going to be massive. We know we're the underdogs, but we've therefore got nothing to lose. We'll go out, and give it our all. Maka talks about making memories. And I think that's going to be the key, is the players are going to go out there to make a memory of coming up against some absolute top quality world-class players. And if they can cause an upset, then what bigger memory is that? We've got nothing to lose, and you guys have got everything to lose. I'm really honest about it. So we'll be having a crack at you. We won't want to sit back and just take it and not say, I think that's the difference between the top of the tier 3 and the bottom of the tier 3 is we're wanting to play you lot regularly. We want to be up in the championship, testing ourselves against you every season. So this is a perfect opportunity to put ourselves on that map, and perfect opportunity to show to also some of your youngsters who maybe want to get a low move or who aren't going to quite make it into your first team, actually come down playing sort of proper football and get some experience as well, and do that. And hopefully our leadership will see that sticking a few extra quid behind the bar and into the team will help progress us up the leagues a bit more. It's only, and let's be honest, it's only a couple of million quid to win promotion out of tier 3, realistically. So peanuts for a Premier League club.
No, very much indeed. Mildred the Red. I see where you've tried to go there. You've worked incredibly hard, but I'm not sure that one's going to cut the mustard.
Fred and Mildred. It doesn't quite work as Wolfie and Wendy, does it?
It's Fred and Mildred. Listen, it's the best we've had so far. It's also the only one we've had so far. So it's winning by default. But I don't think it's going to be enough to convince people. And here we go. Is John going? That'll put a few extra pounds behind the bar.
He's driving. So
Mr. Foster's working, I believe. Technically, he's got accreditation. I understand.
Yes, he's in the media section.
Yeah.
So
looking forward to being interviewed by him.
Wow, there we go. So, Andrew, very much the same sort of question for you. I mean, you're in a slightly more unique position there because you're a United fan, but you do come from, as your accent belies, around the Midlands area. So you do spend a bit of your time, not necessarily at Wolves, but we know at Stourbridge, and you spend your time at the lower levels as well in the leagues. So, I mean, Nick's right. If they go home tomorrow and they've lost 7-0, they'll still have had a great day out because it's something that they've not had. Well, not a great day, but you know what I'm saying. It's been all right. It's at least expected that.
Let's just put it this way, just quickly. Sorry, that as long as we lose no more than 6, we've got to do better than that. The stripe lot down the road. So
I see. So basically, what happened was I picked the wrong number. Okay,
correct.
So 6-0. If they lose 6-0, they'll have a great day. If they have a 7-0 loss, they'll be a bit disappointed. If they have an 8-0 loss, then the world is ended. But if it's a 6-0 one, if it's a 5-0, it's like they're not expecting any different. But if we do not win this game, you're not driving home going, "Oh, it's only Wolves, don't worry." You know, it was only the FA Cup, don't worry. So just talk to me about your thoughts really for the importance of this game and how badly you think the pressure might get to us. Because we've spoken about Bridgewater, we've spoken a little bit about West Brom, but it is a massive banana skin. It's in their backyard. There's going to be a lot more people cheering for Wolves than there was for West Brom. West Brom had to travel to us. So it's very different. It's the good old-fashioned banana skin that you get in the FA Cup. Are we going to slip on it?
Hopefully not. Hopefully we're progressing into the next round. But I say it's going to be a huge occasion, and say it's about making memories. And say we've had many great memories in the FA Cup over the last couple of seasons. Like getting all the way in the first one, and unfortunately losing to Chelsea, but then next year coming back and then winning it. So I mean, final, last year, and we were all, me and you, Barry, were there, and it was just like a day I'll never forget. So it's great that Wolves, virtually, they've sold out the stadium, and parents might be bringing their children, along for the first time to watch women's football. And I'm thinking to Alan Brazil, he's got a granddaughter. If you're not doing anything, bring it down and watch Man United. You used to play for this football club, just feel like, come down and watch a women's football game and see what it's like. Because I remember saying, like, years ago when Connor and John met them at Stourbridge and said, "Oh, do you want to come and watch United women's game away at Birmingham?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I thought, would I love it as much as watching Man United men? And I've always said I've loved it and more. So women's football's been a big part of my life the last 4 years, and say I'm hoping to make more memories, and say met all of you lot as well, and say I've made friends for life out of it. So, but yeah, it's going to be a great occasion. I think the atmosphere is going to be really good. As I say, I think there's going to be banter going back between both sides as well. So, but yeah, I'm hoping we'll be coming away with the good win as well. So, but say as long as we're on it from the start, because I don't want to be feeling disappointed at the end of 90 minutes we're not going through, because so we want to win this FA Cup again.
Absolutely. Well, that in mind, go on.
I was just going to say, I think somebody that Andrew will know, and I'm probably paraphrasing him very badly, but somebody once said that that once they come once, they usually end up coming back again. And Mr. Fisher is right. And we'll get more fans coming back after this, and it'll help grow the game as a whole, not just for Wolves, but as a whole spectacle. And I think that's going to be huge. I think let's be honest, 3,000 odd fans watching you guys play pass ball around West Brom's defence, try and play pass ball through West Brom's defence, wasn't a great spectacle. Didn't do yourselves any favours. Gave West Brom a good defending lesson, but didn't really help them in the attack. But 5,000 fans making a lot of noise it's on YouTube, not on TV, but principal people will be able to watch it and listen, hear it. It will be a really good spectacle for fans, and people will go back and watch it and actually feel it's that atmosphere and everything that goes with going to a live football match, and that will hopefully bring more people to it.
And I was going to say, and some fans that are coming first time to watch Wolves women, they might, like when I watched United women for the first time, the away game, after that, I thought I'll go and get a season ticket as well. So there could be some about, enjoying watching this. I'll come again and again and again. So yeah.
Indeed. Well, as we all know, Chelsea beat West Ham last night in the cup that nobody cares about anymore. Also, in the cup nobody cares about anymore. Manchester City have taken the lead against Arsenal. If you do care, I don't care. So there we go. It doesn't exist. Conti Cup is rubbish. Who cares about that? Right. Question. What's the score going to be, Nick?
Do you want my heart or my head?
I'd like both, please, because we all know that we can't trust our hearts.
Heart, 1-0, Wolves, second minute, Anamorphis, direct from the corner. We then defend for 88 minutes and see it out. Head, my head says 2-1 Man United. Beth Merritt gets a consolation for us, but we can't quite see it over the line. And but there you go.
Interesting.
I'll take whatever we get as long as we don't get spanking.
Well, there you go. I was going to say very close scoreline mentioned there. Andrew, for you, what do you think the score might be? Puzzling time's gone 5-1 United, but close until the last 20, bit like the West Brom game. What do you think?
I can see Wolves scoring, I really can, but as I say, I don't think it's going to be like the West Brom game. I think it's going to be a bit more tougher, but I'm going to go 4-1. But I do reckon Wolves are going to score, but hopefully it's not first, and we're then feeling a bit nervous and put on the back foot. Hopefully we're maybe 2 or 3, and then you get a goal, and then we just make it before. So, but just
to put a bit of context around that, our goal scorers, Beth Merrick has scored in the last 7 FA Cup ties on the bounce. So there you go. So she's got
she wants to keep that run going on Saturday.
She wants to keep that run going, and she wants to do it against you lot. I mean, so the last one she did last season was the penalty against Brighton. So she's got form against WSL teams. So don't be surprised.
In with a shout, absolutely.
It won't be Beth who does the penalty. It will be Anna Morfitt who does the penalty. And I don't know, were you there, Andrew, when Morse put penalty away against Stour last season? She's fairly lethal.
Was that the one at Stour or the one at...
One at Stour. Yeah, one at Stour.
Was that the 9-0?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I was there watching that. Yeah, it wasn't...
He's absolutely banging you here today, Andrew. He's taking you apart. I've left Puzzling Times comment up here because I had to rate the bit at the end. The goal that they scored is a Taylor mistake at the back. I told you not to put her there. But lots of runs here. We got 4-0 United, 4-0 United, 4-0 United, 5-0 United. There's a lot of confidence despite what you're saying. 4-0 here from Kevin Duff. He's gone with another 7-0 there. 2-0 from True, 3-0 from Sporty, and 5-0 regardless of who's in goal. Very interesting. I'm not sure. Did you say a scoreline, Andrew, in the end there?
Yeah, 4-1.
Oh, 4-1. Okay. Sorry. Good. All right, then. Excellent. Well, there we go.
What's your prediction, Barry? Come on, what's your prediction? Put your money where your mouth is.
4-0.
4-0.
Yeah, I think Wolves will probably be a little bit better than some people are expecting. But I'll be honest, if we turn up and the players are in the sort of groove they were in at the first half of Brighton, it could be 5 or 6 by half time. If we turn up and we haven't played as well as we know we can, and you guys are particularly strong in defence, it's going to be tough, and it might be one of those where we might get a couple in the end. But if we go 2 up, I expect us to get a couple more. But if it's only 1 and it's getting towards the end, it'll be tight. Simple as that. So listen, whatever happens, it's going to be a very good day. 5:15 Saturday. If you haven't got tickets, you can watch it on the Teddy Box. That's where I'll be watching it. Can't wait. Got my Saturday night viewing and my pizza ordered in, so it's going to be great. Andrew, you're not just a pretty face or an astronaut on the International Space Station, as people cruelly say to you time and again. You also do a little bit of writing on the Interbobbins. So why don't you tell people where they could go and read your dirge? I mean, your brilliant writing.
Yeah, you can find it on Stretford Paddock. So that's where you can go and find my ramblings.
Absolutely that. And Nick, listen, you've got a fan. People are loving your shade, loving the way you've come on. People have, but to be fair, they said you reminded them of some of the Geordies we've had on recently, which I don't know if that's a positive or not, but they were nice people. But he says, I like this Nick guy. I imagine what Amara, she's our closet Arsenal, not a closet Arsenal fan, she's very much out, would be like if she appeared on the live stream. And yes, it's brilliant. It's been excellent. But of course, you have your very own podcast. So anything you'd like to shout out, where can people find you if they wanted more of your shade?
Yeah, we're Wolves Women Pod on all your social media outlets, sort of including Blue Sky. We have sort of got our out in case Twitter goes even more toxic than it is at the minute. And obviously, you can find us on all your podcast channels, including Spotify. Please do, yeah, sort of give us a listen. Our latest podcast does sort of preview the Man United game. And yeah, so but sort of second half is when we look at the Man United. First half we talk through our previous two games, including the win against Derby and the draw against Rugby. We've already talked about Stourbridge, Andrew. Don't worry about that. That was on the episode 102 where we talk about Stourbridge being walloped again. Yeah, so yeah, no, it's episode 103. It's the preview for the Man United FA Cup game, and hopefully when we get to episode 104, we're still in the FA Cup.
Well, whatever happens, I think we're going to go and listen to episode 102 because I find it quite funny that Stourbridge get battered, and I'm going to take little clips of it and just send it to Andrew every 5 minutes and see how he feels about that. It's the sort of thing I do. So
yeah,
very
yeah, we were just missing ants. That was the thing. We were singing and there was no one singing back. It was most disappointing. We came with all our songs and wasn't there. So no one filled in.
Indeed. Well, never mind. Okay. But there we are. Twilumber saying nice things about Andrew as well. And Connor, for once, saying nice things about me. It's absolutely not a problem. Absolutely not a problem at all. There are too many idiots on the interbobbins, and they need to be called out and understood that there are a lot more people that care about the women's football than Mr. Alan Brazil decided to go for. What can I say? There's some idiots out there, and some of them get given jobs, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and just quickly, guys, I send a lot of love and support to Connor as well. Yeah, we saw what he said, and yeah, stick with him. Yeah, stand with you, Connor. Alan Brazil is a plonker, to put it bluntly. So yeah, love and support, Connor.
Well done. Kept it PG. Love that. So it will be, which I had to do it as well. It's very hard. I have many other words in my head. So yeah, Connor will be back on Monday, where hopefully he'll be joined by me and Charlie, providing there's no last minute issues or dramas. We'll be very much looking forward to that, hopefully, providing it's been a good result. If it's been a bad result, I very much might just chat on the sofa and not bother. We'll kind of see how we go. But guys, it's been a pleasure. Enjoy your Thursday. It's only Thursday evening. It feels like it should be Friday. It's not. It's only Thursday evening. Get yourself tucked up in bed. You've all got work tomorrow. But we'll see you on Monday when we'll be reviewing all that's happened. It's FA Cup weekend. It's glorious. Let's hope it stays that way. Take care.